Good morning, TownStar players. I'm going to give you my version of the competition this week. I'm currently in the top 500, just barely 460 something, I believe, right now. And I had a bad start because I had a work meeting that went from like 9:30 till 10:30, and the time for getting your slots yesterday was 10 a.m. Central Time, so I was in the meeting at that time. So I did not get any water sides. Therefore, I just got a all desert, no mountains, but I'm pretty like I think within a minute of my town, so the trucks are moving okay. So I'm going to go through everything how I built it, and then I'll give you a video of where I'm at right now. And it's Tuesday morning. I'm sorry, Wednesday morning. So it's the next morning after the competition began. This was my original start. I was doing a wheat. No, sorry. Well, I put my okay. I have a wheat stand here, so I can mill flour from that. And then I started building 3 or 4 sheep pens around that and started making wool because I needed money to be able to build on my industrial area down here, right? That was my quick start, quote unquote. And I have actually sold too many wheats. My gas got down, but I survived. So I was down to 18 gas there. I just wanted to show you that. But you can still do it if you're careful at that point. So now I'm starting to build this little, I always call it the industrial complex. I do have this Tesla coil that provides one energy to the item next to it. And then it also creates a battery. I think it's every 30, 45 seconds maybe. And I started building actually a lot of windmills eventually because until you get your power plant done, you're going to need the windmills, right? So next, you can just skip to the end if you know all this basic stuff. I like to give the basic stuff because I hope there's new players coming into TownStar all the time, right? We hope so. I built my lumber yard here. The little red arrows indicate the things that I've been adding. I added my oak trees here because I'm going to need oaks for the water pumps. And I have a water pump NFT. It'd be nice to have 2 of those um, because then you would have all that you need to build your initial industrial complex, right? Started building these construction worker houses, and you almost need almost one of those per wind turbine, if because your wind turbines are a long way away, so those little guys have to walk all the way over to the wind turbines and then back. So almost need one per wind turbine, maybe one less or so than your turbines. Now I'm down to 9 gas, believe it or not. I have 17 petroleum because this guy's making all petroleum. He can't make gasoline yet because he doesn't have water. And I always go straight to building 2 water pumps and just forget the water facility. Typically, that's the way I've been playing it lately. I do have 37 energies right now, so that gives you what my inventory is. You can see I have now my 3 sheep pens, which I think is the maximum amount I built. Because once I get my first, where I'm able to build jet fuel, that's going to provide a lot more money than the sheep are, right? So I kept them there till almost like late last night, the sheep pens and even the windmill, just because it was like free money. I mean, it was still making a little bit of money. And then, the jet fuel, though, far outweighed any money that was making, but it was still there. Now what do you got? I built a fuel storage tank down here so it'd be closer so they wouldn't have to walk all the way up there. Now you can see I've got 4 refineries, and I've got this new idea I call sometimes, well, this is not it. This is just a temporary road because I don't have the money now to get rid of these stones out here that are $40,000 or rocks. And I think the cactus are 10. The shrubs are only $300 to remove. So I can remove the shrubs, the cactus if I have to, but the rocks is kind of like I don't have enough cash yet. You can see up here I only have 38,000, right? So I temporarily built a little road there that eventually will be switched. And so I've got 2 of them making petroleum because they're next to what's called the oil seep, which gives like basically 4 crude oil in an array out. It was like 4, 3, 2, 1. What else did I see here? Goal, not to run out of gas, and to get the jet fuel money to build more power plants. So normally I would build my power plants after I have my first 2 refineries. But since this game, the jet fuel gives you so much money, I decided to go straight for the jet fuel before I ever built my first refinery. And I think that was a wise decision. My oak my oak farm here was growing the oak that were needed for the water pumps. And you know you're going to need a lot of water pumps in this game. So I let it go ahead and build about 9 extras because it usually takes 3 per water pump and sometimes 1 for a water facility. So as soon as I got 9 oak, I had to kill that because otherwise the oaks will kind of take over your storage areas. So you have to kind of like recreate and delete your oak trees occasionally. Now I had my first sale of jet fuel, and of course that's $255,000 given the meta that's specific to this week. That is not your normal game. This is a special meta that they use, certain weeks they have different what they call meta, and that changes the values of different things. I built my second lumber yard. This is an NFT here, the tall warehouse, which is nice to have. It holds 60 instead of 20. I guess this is what I'm going to build a second lumber yard, and I'm going to build a power plant. Okay, it's time to do that. That's what I was saying. Oh, there's my second lumber yard. It's being built right now, right there. I kept moving my Tesla coil around, trying to give, like here, it could give 1 to each of these. So it gives a little bit of passive batteries there. And you can see I have my windmills or wind turbines now. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there's another one down here in the bottom right. Okay, now I say need some wood and lumber for the next power plant. So sometimes you get these little wood shortages temporarily. There's my first power plant. I'm going to put the second one here, and then I'll have automatic, basically gas and petroleum. Need iron and steel for nuclear plants. So, it'd be nice to just plop down a nuclear plant this early in the game, but the nuclear plant requires, first of all, $1 million this week. It's normally 10 million, but this week with the meta, it's 1 million. And you have to have iron and steel, and to have that, you have to have your mines off on the border here, and you have to let them run. Then you have to have a steel mill, which I think is 1.5 million to basically create your steel to build your nuclear power plants. So obviously you can't just jump right into nuclear power plants at the beginning of the game. I'm switching the Southwest refinery. So this is north. So the Southwest would be this one right here. So about half the time, maybe I have it making gas, and half of the time I have it making jet fuel, because I needed enough gas to sell whatever I sell. But jet fuel is worth a lot of money right now, $250,000 for every sale of 10. So therefore, I want to kind of flip-flop between those. Okay. And this is just showing you that the shallow mine, what is needed. And it needs lumber, batteries, and wood. And that's the same kind of stuff you need for a power plant. So, if it didn't need these things, I'd go ahead and build my shallow mines then. But it's more important at this point in the game to have my power plant up and running. So now you can see I do have that. This is kind of my standard configuration, is this little line of things here. What's on the right side is extra this week due to the jet fuel goal. I have a wood shortage. I wanted more logger houses, but I needed more lumber and wood to do that. I started paving a few roads. I sold several sets of batteries, but that got me low on gasoline. But every time you sell batteries, you get points. So I was surprised that this early in the game that I was actually at this rank 464. And what's really weird is I'm still at, I haven't hardly ever moved. I've been moving between like 460 and 490 the whole week. So I guess there's a group of us that played the same style or something, and that we don't go up or down a lot or something like that. Okay, so now I'm building my logger houses over here on the far right side. Keeps them far away from everything up here. And in my practice game, I just decided that was good. I paved these roads here. I started building these little ponds for the future. And this water pump here is basically to give water in case I need to build another pond. But there's also a trick where if you have roads nearby, you can return your water towers. These are 4 NFT water towers I have, which have been perfect because you can use them in almost every game. And you can return those back to the inventory, and then you can like temporarily place them over here, and then they'll give enough water to get that thing going, and you don't have to wait on the water. But sometimes I don't care. I'll just build a pond. I'm in no hurry for it because it's going to be like an hour maybe before I start building more stuff down here. And so that just gives the water to help the little constructor guys build the ponds. And I should have put my buggy puddles on here to help build the ponds too. I did that later. Now this is showing you the steel mill cost 1.5 million, and it requires 2 iron, 2 lumber, and 10 batteries. So it's actually the requirements to build it other than the cash are pretty easy. But I need to wait now till I have $1.5 million. So here I haven't started my mines. Now here I started my first mine, and I put a warehouse there so that basically he can dump his stuff in that warehouse. Last week, by the way, these these triple high warehouses that held 60, they were getting priority. So this miner would, instead of using the mine next to him, he would walk all the way over here and dump his products in this extra large warehouse. I think they changed that in the code this week so that they do tend to use the closer warehouse now, even if you do have this NFT. So that was a nice improvement, actually. Oh, this little arrow over here shows I have 6 iron ore already. And built basically now I'm building more. Okay, this is my haunted east or west wing, and that will give me free petroleum or basically free crude oil to these 2 refineries, which are going to make petroleum. And then I put a power plant there, so these guys would get passive energy to basically build their petroleum. Now I built another power plant and another water pump, another refinery here. And over here, I'm starting to build out my water pumps and my ponds just for the future. And I'm slowly getting rid of these cactus and rocks as needed. Now you see I have $1 million, but I still didn't have enough for the steel plant, which is 1.5 million. Okay. Now you can see I continued my mines over here. Eventually I built 5 mines, and now I'm toward the end of the game. I got rid of one of them, and now the board's getting kind of full, so I can slowly get rid of my mines. At the very end, here I added another refinery, paved some roads. I'm adding, looks like a refinery there, another power plant, another refinery, et cetera, et cetera. I started steel mill. Oh, right here, this is my first steel mill. Sorry, that's not a power plant. So this big long arrow right here is my first steel mill. And I had to make sure that I had still enough money left. So even though it cost 1.5 million, I wanted to wait till I had like 2 million before I built it, because you're starting to use up a lot of money here every minute of the game, right? So you have to watch your spend ratio. Okay, now I got my second steel mill over here. You can see those blue items are both built now, and I still have a little less than $1 million. And now I started building my first nuke. So there's my first nuclear power plant. Here is my second and third. And eventually there'll be many, many of those. I removed a windmill. I got rid of my sheep and my ranchers now in this area, so it's all trees, nothing else. Don't need any of that anymore. This is like getting late at night, getting close to when I went to bed, but not quite. Maybe I can't remember what the time. This is maybe 11 or 12 at night. I added some more storehouses over here. And also even here, I wanted like these nuclear plants, like they, the guys take a long time to walk. So they'll create a battery every 5 seconds, but they might take 10, 20, 30 seconds to deliver the battery. So if you put your warehouse right across the street and actually face the door to the nuclear power plant, you reduce his walking time to say 5, 6, 7 seconds, give or take. And then so you're really producing the batteries a lot faster. So you definitely need lots of warehouses close to your power plants. See, I'm putting my rank up here. I just go check the rank and I type that in so you can see where I'm at. Here. A new power plant. Okay, so these 2 power plants were done. A new one's coming up here. This one's starting to cause a little bit of pollution on these 3 or 4 trees, but no big deal. I still have logger houses here, but eventually I got rid of those a little bit like this morning. I'm sorry, the old lumberjack, the slow ones, but they were doing fine actually, because it's not a wood intensive game really. So after I got my basic stuff started, I always had enough wood, and especially once I got rid of my sheep pens here and have all these trees, plenty of wood. Sometimes I'd be a little short on lumber for the mines here, and eventually I built another lumber mill down here in the lower left, just have extra. I moved this little constructor house over here and got rid of the constructor houses here because there's no more wind turbines. And this one is because this Tesla coil is still putting off one battery every 30, 40 seconds, and it takes a worker to deliver it. So instead of having the worker over here, where he had to walk all the way over here to the Tesla coil, I wanted him right beside the Tesla coil. So he still has to walk to the warehouse, but that's fine because it takes another 30, 40 seconds for the Tesla coil to make another battery. Okay, and this is 12:50 a.m. So that's the thing I kind of hate about TownStar is the first day you're in this rush to get your city, your town where it can run overnight and be safe and not run out of not explode, like not run out of money or not, you don't have your warehouses, everything balanced, your auto scripts are balanced. Everything has to be balanced before you go to bed. And then hopefully you come back in the morning and you'll have more money and you can do more things. So now you can see I have quite a few power plants. And so right before I went to bed, I started these two and see how that took. I knew my money was going up, right? I knew that I wasn't going to run out of money. I was fairly confident of that. And so I was able to start two power plants where they would be ready for me in the morning. And then sure enough, in the morning I had like 15 million or something like that. So then I'll show you where I'm at now. What else is important here? Oh, more water pumps. The steel mills are taking water. And then right here I have three refineries. And the reason I have them right there, they're not getting any water, which is bad, but they're getting still a crude oil. So this crude oil seep goes out a long way. It goes out again 4 spaces. So you count here 4, 3, 2, and then 1 to each one of these. So those three are making all petroleum, but they do need water. And then the mines up here are using water, and then the steel mills take 5 water, and it gets, I guess, only 1 of those, or maybe 2 from the water pump. So, yeah, it probably would have been a little smarter to have my steel mill between 2 water pumps, like right here. No, they have to be actually physically next to a water pump. That's one of the rules. Okay, so that's the way that goes. Now, boom! Look at all those power plants, right? This is this morning after building a few more power plants. Nothing else really at this point. And so I still had 9 million. Like I said, I think I had 15 million when I first woke up. I built 3 or 4 more power plants, or 2 or 3 at least, of 9 million. And that's the end of that. So now let's go to the live video. Current town. Okay, so here we are. Doesn't look too much difference from that last picture. So what I've done since that picture is I did pave a few more roads and I put a few more warehouses. So like right here, I added a warehouse because again, I want these 3 nukes to basically have their own warehouse so they don't have to be walking all the way over here to these warehouses. Same thing, I added a warehouse here to service these 4 nukes, and maybe even that one. You just kind of have to watch where the guys go to find out, where their closest warehouse is that they like. This one, I guess, he has to go probably a long way. I ended up with even another water facility here, and you see right now I have no extra water. So something is draining all my water barrels. And I actually got rid of one of my mines over here, and pretty soon I'm going to get rid of another. See, I have 23 steel right now, and a power plant takes, I think, 5 steel. So I have enough steel right now to build 4 power plants. So yeah, I think it's time to get rid of one of these. So I'll just go ahead and remove. I'm going to remove one up here, and then I can build another warehouse. It's making iron right now, but I guess no big deal. I could have waited for that one little iron to finish. I'm going to put a warehouse there. And what I can also do over the next few hours, I can replace all of my power plants with nuclear plants. And then you can see I have this little bit of space here. I can do something, maybe another couple power plants. And one thing nice is the power plants do not require wood or lumber, right? So I'm going to need these trees less and less. So pretty soon I should be able to get rid of like a row or two of trees and get down to say 5, 6, 8 trees. And then toward the end of the game, I should only need 2 or 3 trees just in case I want to change something really minor. Okay. And the more I get rid of these mines, I'll need less water. And so these guys here will go away eventually, except I'll need 1 or 2 water facilities to service these 3 refineries, as I discussed earlier. Eventually, even the steel mills will go away, and they're using up a lot of water too. So as I get rid of those types of things, the water facilities here can go down or go away. Oh, and I didn't discuss, because of not having the river or the ocean, that the suggested idea from everybody, and in my practice game I did it, I had a freight ship which would can carry 100 batteries at a time and would only cost, I think, 3 gas, or maybe 1, 2, or 3 gas. And I think it always depends on how far your city is, of course. Here, obviously, I just have a bunch of delivery trucks, and you see right now all 4 of them are going. And so pretty soon I may need a 5th or even a 6th one. I kind of guessed at the beginning of the game I might have 7, 8, 9, 10 of these up here. And that's because I'm just creating these batteries. And every time I get 10 batteries, boom, see, they're all going on a truck, and then they go again. So right now, what I have to watch and be very careful is this number right here. And so I wrote down a few minutes ago. Let me just get a notepad up here. Okay, so before I started this video, I wrote down how much. They call this city cash. I saw that in one of their posts on Discord. City cash, not town cash. I think they're trying to make sure you don't get it mixed up with town coins, right? So they're calling this city cash. And so I had this much city cash at 8:52 a.m. Now it's 9:24. I have this much city cash. And so I am going up, but not very much. So now what you have to think about right now, what I have to think about is every time I build another power plant, like here, let's click on this one, you see it's using 3,000 a minute, okay? So 3,000 a minute times 60, that's going to be like what, 1.8 million? I think it's 180,000. Check that. Yep, 180,000. You remember how we did that in school? Take 3 times 6 is 18, and then you add how many zeros? 1, 2, 3, 4. So you put the 4 zeros over here, and you got the 18 in front of it. So there you go. You had a math lesson today. But sometimes I don't want to make a mistake, so I still use the calculator, right? So I will be using another $180,000 every hour if I build another power plant. So basically, let's take these 2 numbers up here and see the difference. Okay, subtracted those 2 numbers, the difference is 94,700. So I went up that much money in the last, let's just round it off and say 30 minutes. So I am going up, but now we almost have to double that. So actually, yeah, that's close enough to 30 minutes. So in an hour, multiply that times 2. That means I'm going to be making basically 189,000. Right now, this is I call it my surplusage. Okay, my money is coming in more than it's going out by 189,000 per hour. And if I build one more nuke plant, it's going to use 180,000 an hour, right? Therefore, what does that tell you? I can really only build one more nuclear power plant without my money to start going down. So that also tells you the way to solve that or to help that is I need to sell more jet fuel, right? Because jet fuel is where we make our money. So, and that's what you can kind of see every time I've added a power plant, I pretty much got a refinery by it. And the refineries are either making gasoline, which I need to sell. And right now, actually, I'm my comfort level with gas is about 30 or 40. And right now, I see I'm up to 70. So what I can do is find one of my power refineries that's making, like that one's making jet fuel. There's going to be one of them that's making gas, probably like over here. And I'm just going to switch it to jet fuel. And that means I will make a little bit more money and a little bit less gas. because the jet fuel brings in the money. So there's a gas one making gas right there. So I'm going to hit craft stop, and I'm going to switch it over. Craft, go to jet fuel. And when you make a change like that, you almost need to run it 15, 20, 30 minutes to get an idea how much difference that will make. Because sometimes a little bitty change, it's like it'll mushroom over a large amount of time. So that's just the feel where you have to get for the game as to how much difference that makes. So think of it in an hour. Like how fast was this guy making a gas? He was probably making within an hour, he might have been making 20, 30 gas. And now he'll be making instead, say 10 or 20 jet fuel. And so every jet fuel is $250,000, right? So if he makes 20 jet fuels in an hour, that's $500,000 an hour coming in, which will definitely pay for, say, another two nuclear plants, right? Nuclear power plants. So that's why I'm in the game now is just going to have to watch my money. And I have this little bit of space here to do with as I want. And like I said a while ago, I'm going to slowly get rid of my mines and maybe get rid of my water facilities. I can probably go down to one steel mill now or later or very soon. And I can start turning this into more power plants, into more refineries in here. And again, I will shrink my trees down over here. I might add another delivery truck. And that's where I'm at now. Current rank is, let's see, 484. So I've been, like I said, I've been jumping around in the 460s to up to 490, and I haven't changed very much. So it seems to be kind of stable. So I'd like to stay obviously in the top 500, but I haven't checked the chart here just to see how much it matters. Like 500 this week is not a big deal. The range is 451 to 550. So it's, I think that as long as I keep doing what I'm doing, I'm going to stay in that range. Again, it's not a lot of money. I did another video. It's just frustrating to do all this work for 300 Gala coins. Again, I'd rather have like an NFT or something, but that 300 Gala, you can use it to buy an NFT, but that's where we're at. So thanks for watching. Again, I try to make my videos very explanatory. Like I give you the logic that's going through my head. And I think I'm a fairly good teacher. I used to be a Microsoft certified trainer, and right now I'm teaching Hebrew, biblical Hebrew to some people. So I love teaching, and that's the style of how I make my videos. I'm teaching them to people who, more or less beginners or just lower level intermediate people who want to share ideas. Like I said, my towns are not obviously the best because people, I think, again, other people I see and people I know are up to there like at 200, 250. So their cities are better, but are they making high quality teaching videos? That's the point, right? They all give hints and stuff, but they don't kind of show you their thought processes in great level of detail. So thank you for watching, and I'll try to answer my comments. If you send a comment below the video, I'd like to talk to you, and I'll see you on the next video. It's been Neil Walters, neilsvideos.com.